Last year at Monza, Alain Prost of McLaren pulled away from a Ferrari to begin his run to the World Drivers' Championship. It was in Italy Prost announced he'd drive for Ferrari in 1990. And as always, Ayrton Senna will be the one to catch. The same is true for Izvestia, who parlayed a Triple Crown sweep into a tiny bankroll. Now another million's on the line, the Molson Export Million.
Word from Monza prior to the start of the Italian Grand Prix is that the World Drivers' Championship is, quote, a game between Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost. That's the story from Senna, the standings leader and the pole sitter for today's race. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sports Weekend. In a moment, the Italian Grand Prix. But first, a couple of quick pit stops to our other broadcast locations today, CFL football in Winnipeg and the Molson Export Million in Toronto. And we'll begin with Senna and Alain Prost, who've taken the last three World Championships, two by Prost. They're at the front of the pack today, and we'll run down the starting grid right after the current standings. Through 11 races, Ayrton Senna holds a 13-point lead over Alain Prost. Gerhard Berger is in third, 6 up on Thierry Boutsen, who's 3 in front of Piquet. In the constructors' race, it's almost academic for McLaren, well on their way to a third straight title. Ferrari is destined for second, Williams now third. From Monza, Ferrari country in northern Italy, the Molson Autosport Series on Sports Weekend presents race 12 of the Grand Prix Championship. It's the Italian Grand Prix, home of some of the most dedicated racing fans anywhere in the world, and here's how the grid will line up. The greatest qualifying driver ever, Ayrton Senna, will start from the pole for a record 49 time. Senna yet to win thus far at Monza. Alongside Senna, Alain Prost in the Ferrari, defending race champion, defending world champion. In row 2, Gerhard Berger in the second McLaren. He hasn't won this year. His last win was in Portugal in '89. Also in row 2, Nigel Mansell. Ferrari is not pleased with his driving. He's only finished 3 races. Jean Alesi heads row 3. Tyrrell, Williams, and Ferrari said to be seeking his services for next year. Thierry Boutsen was the 6th fastest qualifier. He was the winner at Hungary 2 races ago. Row 4 has the second Williams car of Riccardo Patrese, his record extending 204th Grand Prix start, while Alessandro Nannini has the first of the Benettons in row 4. Nannini was 4th in Belgium. On to row 5 for Nannini's teammate Nelson Piquet, a solid season for the 3-time world champion. Piquet is joined by Mauricio Gugelmin in the first Leighton House March, coming off his best finish this year. Then in rows 6 and 7, the Lotus pair of Donnelly and Warwick. Not a good season for Lotus, plus Eric Bernard in the first Lola and Nakajima in the second Tyrrell. Rows 8 and 9 feature Italian drivers Martini, Capelli, and Modena for Minardi, Leighton House, and Brabham respectively, plus the second Japanese driver Suzuki. In rows 10 and 11, Pirro in the first Dallara, Alio for Ligier, and the Arrows duo of Cathy and Alboreto, really not competitive this season. Then in the final 2 rows, Griard in the Osella, Yannick Dalmos with the rare start for AGS, De Cesaris in the second Dallara, Larini in the second Ligier, the final qualifier. The 26 starters have settled into place, and we're ready for the Italian Grand Prix. Providing the commentary, as usual, our former world champion James Hunt and Murray Walker. Gentlemen, start your voices.
First the red, of course, then the green, any time up to 7 seconds after the red comes on. 53 laps of Monza. The race is going to last about 1 hour and 20 minutes, rather less. Into the Rettifilio with Senna leading and now trying to build a cushion immediately. Berger second, Prost third, and Lacey is fourth ahead of Mansell fifth, and Boutsen is in 6th position. Are they all going to get through the Rettifilio? Yes, including Nicola Larini, who started from last on the grid. Now they go into the Curva Grande that was on towards the Rugia. the second chicane, and as you can see, Prost is challenging, and Lacey is up into third position. This is an incredible bit of driving. He's got ahead of both the Ferraris from behind both of them on the grid. Now up to the two Lesmos, 130 miles an hour. That's where Prost went off in testing last week and is perfectly okay. Round the second Lesmo, onto the Seraglio, down to the Ascari chicane, and it's Senna, Berger, Alesi third, Prost, Mansell, Boutsen in sixth position, and Alesi's drive already is quite incredible. Nannini in seventh place, and Patrese eighth ahead of Piquet and Gugelmin.
Yes, tremendous charging first lap from Alesi, as we've come to expect, and to great effect, getting past both Ferraris. A very poor start by Alain Prost, and that is not a good start to his afternoon's work. He definitely needed to get away well and at least split the McLarens, and he was very tardy off the grid.
Alesi's drive, as I said, is almost unbelievable. And oh God, that is a Lola. That's all I can tell. No, it's Derek Warwick. It's Derek Warwick who's crashed at the Parabolica, and as you can see, my goodness, he's okay. That is an incredible testimony to the strength and safety of the construction of the cars these days, and there is absolutely no doubt in my mind that the race will have to be stopped, because the car is on the exit of the Parabolica, of course unknown to Senna, who is leading, Berger, who is second, the incredible Alesi, who is in third place. Warwick just ran wide at the Parabolica, and there is his car.
I'm looking for a red flag on the line, but I haven't seen anything yet. But it looked, there is the red flag. Right, red flag for the race, so they're stopping the race. And that was a horrendous accident. It looked to me a little bit as if something went wrong on the Lotus there, because Warwick suddenly went wide and went right off the racing line. It could have been, he got on, it could have been that he just got wide onto the marbles and got slippery, and we didn't really see enough of that to see if the car actually had suddenly stepped out of line and was failing to steer. But a horrendous accident, and a great testimony to the strength of the Lotus, and marvellous to see Warwick climb out from underneath that. The cockpit cell obviously completely intact, and just a big impact for him, but he bounced off the barrier, and I should think, apart from a few minor bruises, he looked pretty unhurt to me. And in fact, he's that unhurt. There is Derek Warwick running back to get back into the spare car. So Warwick not only unhurt, but even his enthusiasm is unhurt, and that's tremendous. And it seems appropriate now for me to say a word to Derek Warwick, because one of the things that I've been watching recently, brought on by Nannini's rather strange drive in Spa, which I'll talk about later, but which is certainly weird to me. It seems to me that a lot of the old soldiers really taking a bit of a holiday these days, and apart from the top four, the Ferrari and McLaren drivers, but one of the exceptions here out of the long-term serving drivers is Derek Warwick, who tries 110% every time he gets in the car. And look at that enthusiasm after a shunt like that to jump straight back in the spare. And it really is time that Derek Warwick was in a good drive. Now, looking at it again, we've just seen him disappear off the road, but we don't really get a long enough look as he goes wide there. Then, of course, the moment the wheels get off the road, there's no chance. Huge G-force there, just powers into the barrier. I hope the marshal wasn't hurt there. There's a marshal thrown over in the background as the car strikes the barrier.
And with Warwick's accidents, we'll have the restart from Monza and the Italian Grand Prix on Sports Weekend right after this.
Grand Prix on Sports Weekend. Brought to you by Honda, delivering Grand Prix performance to your driveway. And by Castrol Canada, makers of Castrol XLR.
Fantastic, I made it. Sales manager, name on the door, broadloom on the floor. And now I'm going to share my good fortune. I'm signing up with Foster Parents Plan to help support a little girl in a developing country. My help will mean a lot to my foster child. And you know, helping costs only pennies a day.
Children are the future and must be our concern. Please help. Call Foster Parents Plan 1-800-268-7174.